What is going on, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And welcome, guys, to another beginner series recap video. And if you're doing a count, we're currently right now in week number 25. Well, technically week 26, but I'm recapping for week 25 here. So a lot to actually go through in this video this week. A lot of updates, I should say, in this video this week. Really good things have happened on the account. First thing being that we hit level 70, and level 70 was definitely one of our marks that we were trying to target for, because there's a lot of content that we're going to be able to do on the account, which we were able to get done. So the first thing, actually, let's talk about Dark Dimension. So was able to go into Dark Dimension. We've done the first couple nodes so far. Honestly, have kind of not been able to pay much attention to it because of what's going on with the main account and the fact that we have this Black Widow event. I've had to do a lot of logins there. But the goal this week is to be able to finish up our Dark Dimension 2 run. Well, let's first talk about the team and the characters that I use for Dark Dimension 2. So we narrowed it down to this, and this is the team that we're running with right now. We have Baron Zemo, Kestrel, Silver Surfer, Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, remember, guys, the last time that we did this video here, we did not have Symbiote Spider-Man unlocked. So we were able to get Symbiote Spider-Man unlocked. We got really lucky with some milestone orbs there. I think what you guys saw was like 85 out of 100. So we were able to get those last remaining shards, and we haven't been able to get any shards since, but we were able to get those last remaining shards, the 15 that we needed to get Symbiote Spider-Man. And then we made sure that we brought him all the way up to gear tier 13. And of course, we are using Minerva. I'm still contemplating whether or not I want to bring in Mr. Sinister. And obviously, I went against bringing in Ghost. And the reason why Ghost did not go was just when I looked at the scope of the team, I think I was trying to initially build a team that would one-shot all of these nodes, right? I think that was the goal. I was going to bring in Ghost, bring in Minerva, bring in Kestrel, bring in Surfer, and then bring in Zemo or potentially Sinister to try to one-shot these Dark Dimension 2 nodes. But in reality, I don't need to one-shot them, right? That's not really the goal. The goal is to finish it. And I think with this crew, with this slot or arrangement of characters here, I think we're definitely fine. Once we do get some of that gear, though, from Dark Dimension 2, we're probably going to bring up Ghost. And we may still hold off on Sinister. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to bring up Sinister too, right? Because Dark Dimension 3 is going to be next. So therefore, we're going to want to pay attention to that. So after our 2 runs of Dark Dimension 2, we're probably going to circle back around. Not probably. We're going to circle back around to Ghost, and we're going to circle back around to Sinister as well. But some other things to talk. Well, actually, let's talk about this. So in Dark Dimension, I've done the first couple nodes. But let's at least show you where the progress has landed so far. So I've only done the first 2 nodes. Mission one right here, and I've done mission 2. All of them have been one shot so far. They're fairly easy nodes. I don't think that I'm going to have any issues or any problems until we get to maybe node 7, because Deadpools are there. There's some Lokis. There's some good, decent damage that you can get from a character like Cable. And you gotta keep in mind, this is a free-to-play account, so a lot of the characters that I have are not necessarily very high star levels. Silver Surfer's 2 stars, Kestrel's 3 stars, Zemo's 4, Minerva's 4, and then I have the Symbiote Spider-Man at 3. But we might still be able to get through it. I think Symbiote Spider-Man ability to stun characters in Node 7, stunning those Deadpools. Also in Node 10, being able to stun those Deadpools, I think we'll be fine. But I'll let you guys see the next progress here, how far we were able to get into Dark Dimension. We most likely will be done with both runs of Dark Dimension by then, though. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on, right? But some other things that happened on the account as well is our campaign. So once we got to level 70, the goal was, okay, let's get through Heroes. Let's get through Hero 7-1. Let's get through Villain 7-1, 2, 3, and then see where we can go with 7-4, 7-5, and 7-6. Good news on that front. For the Heroes campaign, we were able to beat Hero 7-1 fairly easily, and the team that I use will actually surprise you. So let's pull up the team right now, and I'll show you guys who I use. So these are the 4 characters that I was able to use here. They were actually 136K when I got it done. Symbiote Spider-Man was not gear tier 13 yet. Miss Marvel, I'll show you where the characters are. So Symbiote Spider-Man, gear tier 13. Miss Marvel, gear tier 11, 29K. We had Ghost Rider at 24K, Squirrel Girl at 23K. And yes, we used Night Nurse at 16K. It was very RNG. It was actually the first time I went in, I was able to beat it. but it was we got very lucky. Night Nurse and Ghost Rider were literally at like in the red, man. We got kind of lucky with it there, but Symbiote Spider-Man and Miss Marvel hard carried the entire thing. So 7-1 was very easy. Later on, as we get the characters to level 60, Gear Tier 10, 6664, these other three characters here, we're gonna go back in again, and we're gonna try to see if we can get through 7-2 and 7-3. But it wasn't important for us to do that yet because the main goal was to beat 7-1, Hero 7-1, so that we could then do villains, do the villains campaign. And here's an update on that as well. So we were able to get all the way through. So far, it was 7-1. We didn't 3-star it, but we were able to beat it. We didn't need to 3-star it, right? We 3-starred Note 7-2. We 3-starred 7-3. And then, yes, y'all, we were able to get all the way up to the Hello Node. We 3-starred 7-4, 7-5, and then we also 3-starred 7-6, where we got to the Hella Node, and we are now farming Hella. And that was the entirety of this goal, right? Was to be able to get to 7-6 so that we could farm Hella. And I'm amped about it, man, because this was a good implemented plan to be ready to do this once we got to level 70 and we were able to get the job done there. So let's talk about the team, right? You guys are probably like, well, what team did you use? What power level were they at? So I'll show you right now. So the power level of the villains team. So we are obviously, you already know, we had Zemo at Gear Tier 13, right? Obvi. We were using them in Dark Dimension, so we had them at Gear Tier 13. The other characters were all at Gear Tier 10. So Swarm, Electro, Rhino, Shocker were all at level 60, Gear Tier 10, and their abilities were at 5, 5, 5, 3. So I didn't do 6, 6, 6, 4 on them. I didn't feel like I needed to, but I was prepared just in case I needed to make that happen. But we did not need to. Well, actually, not Shocker. I lied. It's not Shocker, guys. It was actually Mysterio. Mysterio is the character I used at level 16, Gear Tier 10. His heal blocks are actually relatively important, and him being able to clear a positive effect in blind was actually very valuable in this run right here. But 147k team is what I use to get through 7-1, 7-2, and 7-3. And then the team that I used to 3-star the Hella Node. Well, I can't show it to you. Oh. We can show it to you here. The team that I used to 3-star the Hella Node was not Ronin, but we used this team. This is my setup. So no Ronin. I'm just doing this for the sake of this. But we had Loki at level 65, Gear Tier 12. We had Mordo at level 65, Gear Tier 11. Hela at level 70 and Gear Tier 12. And then we had Juggernaut at 65 and Gear Tier 10. I did put a healer ISO on Juggernaut for some additional sustain, and that was actually able to help me through the first 3 nodes there, and obviously to be able to 3-star that Hella node. The setup of the team that I used was as follows. So you guys, there's actually a video on my channel where I talked about 147k team to get the 3-star the Hella node. I was able to do it with 152k team. This was the setup of the team that I used here. Hella over here, Juggernaut over here, and no Ronin. So this was the setup that I used to get this done. I will say this is not a completely great formula, but I found that this has worked. This is something that I've used before. I did a previous video months ago with 147k team, a little bit less investment on some of the characters because of star level. So when I did this previously before in that video months ago, Hella, I had a 4-star Hella, 4 and 3 Hella, so I didn't have to put that much investment to get her to Gear Tier 12. Loki also had a little bit. We had 4 and 4, so we had 4 red stars on Loki, so that helped out tremendously. This is a 3 and 3 or 4 and 3 Loki. So there was a little bit more investment that was needed to be able to get this done. Juggernaut was at 65 and 11, so we actually have less investment on Juggernaut. And then Mordo also 65 and 11. He was 65 and 11 when we did that previous video as well. So 152k team, guys, we were able to get this done. It did get a little dicey at the very end because we had Mordo in the red, but because of Greg's, every time that the Greg dies, Mordo is getting some health. Mordo's also getting some of that ability energy, which means that I'm able to get his stun often, and I was able to control the matchup, especially with Hella being able to spread those negative effects. It was extremely efficient to be able to get through those nodes. So I'm very happy right now. Our next goal on the account obviously is finish Dark Dimension 2. but also to finish up Nexus Chapter 7. So I didn't even realize this yet, but I hadn't finished all the entirety of Nexus Chapter 7. Been so focused on Dark Dimension 2, been so focused on getting to heroes and then getting to villains, to 3-star those nodes there, that I completely forgot about doing Nexus Chapter 7. So we're going to finish up Nexus Chapter 7, and then we're going to go into Nexus Chapter 8. We have to finish up Nexus Chapter 8 in order to be able to do the Doom campaign, the Doom War campaign. So we are going to be working down on that right now, and that's going to be our main goal and focus. And I'll give you a little bit of an update later on as we figure out exactly what we're going to do with those campaign nodes. But that's pretty much it. In terms of the farms that we're doing, obviously we're farming Hela now, right? We're farming Loki as well. We're also farming Nobu. So these 3 characters we're going to be bringing up to 6 stars. I am still working on whether or not there is a lot of relevance for Phoenix. Okay, let's not say relevance, but whether or not there is a dire need to try to farm to get Phoenix right now, I'm not sure that that's incredibly necessary. But in the interim, we are farming Miss Marvel. We are farming Quake to try to get them to 5 stars. We are also farming Heimdall in the arena store to get him to 5 stars. Obviously, getting Hela and Loki to 5 stars. Even though we're going to be pushing them to 6, but getting them to 5 stars is going to be important so that we can unlock Black Bolt, and then farming Miss Marvel and Quake so that we can eventually get to get Ebony Maw as well. We're already farming Crystal in the store. We're going to be farming Crystal after we're done with farming Heimdall in the arena store, and in the raid store. Whenever we see Yo-Yo, we definitely make sure we grab shards for her. So therefore, we're positioning ourselves already to try to get Black Bolt and to try to get Ebony Maw. I'm not sure where Phoenix lands in those plans. I still feel like she's a very important character. I just don't know if pushing for her is quite as important now as it was before. But I think from a free-to-play perspective, Phoenix probably might provide a lot of value on my roster. But with characters like Ghost, it kind of just changes the perspective. I'll flush out those thoughts a little bit more as we continue to move on here, but just wanted to give you guys that update. Really good stuff happening right now with the beginner account. And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't really had a lot of fun on the beginner account for the past really couple months because of the level 70 bottleneck. Now being able to accomplish these things, there's a little bit more fun that I'm having with the baby account. A little bit more fun I'm having with the Assemble series here. So this kind of gave me a little bit of a jolt in order to be able to kind of get some other content. Then there's still some things that are going to be challenging, especially because of being a free-to-play account and not having the stars to be able to get some stuff done with certain characters. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult and more challenging for me to get content like Doom campaigns done, or maybe even the Nexus campaign because of the availability of characters. But either way, I'm going to do the best that I can here and then present to you and show you what I'm doing on the account that has worked to hopefully help out you guys who are also following the beginner series. But listen, if you guys have any questions about anything, man, leave it in the comments. Happy to help. That's it for me, y'all. Y'all be blessed and y'all be safe. All right, 6 a.m. in the morning, time to go to sleep.